Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We're your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 5, Episode 6, Fun and Games.
Yeah. So, Mariah, how was your week?
It was good. I finished my final 2 weeks at my old job, and as of recording, tomorrow I'll start my full schedule at my new job.
Yay!
I'll be working from early in the morning until the evening, so wish me luck.
Be a long day. How, when to when?
7 to 4.
Okay. All right. That's,
Yeah.
It's not the worst ever.
Yeah. But I get a lot of breaks, so
Good.
that's good.
That's very good. Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. How was your week?
Mine was really good. I just played a South by show last night. So that was really fun. I had a drummer for the first time, which it just makes everything feel real. It makes me feel like a real musician to have a band with, I had my guitarist and a drummer, and I felt so cool. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited about music right now, and I feel like I have a lot of opportunities opening up. And then also I met someone who said that they would listen to our podcast. So I don't know when they will ever get to this episode, but hi, Fabian.
Nice.
So yeah, I had a really great week.
That's awesome. Aw, I'm so excited for you.
Me too.
All right, so are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
So this episode was written by Brent Flesher. Oh my God.
Flesher. Ooh.
Flesher, hold on. This episode was written by Brent Fletcher and directed by Clark Gregg.
No way!
This is Clark Gregg's directorial debut.
Daddy Clark. He did great. I loved this episode.
Yeah, it was a really good episode.
Yeah. So cool. And we met a few new characters. So,
yeah.
Technically a new character, Boshtak, who's super hot. Panarian, who I hated. And this actor is in quite a few things that I have seen, and every time he's icky. I hate him.
He plays Icky very well.
Yes, he really does. I see his face and I'm like, bad guy. Not good. And then Flint, technically we have seen him before, but I knew he'd come back around. And then Falnak, whatever. Enemy of my enemy is my friend, I guess. He and I can hate Cassius together. All right. So, we start off. Hey, it's that kid from the elevator. I remembered him. I did not remember his name, but they told us pretty soon. So, and he's got half a pair of scissors and some pieces of tin, and he's bartering with people around the lighthouse, even with Grill, who throws him some extra coins too. And then he runs across some creepers, and they take him.
In the opening scene, Flint pulls out a Rizzoli and Isles DVD Season 4 out of his backpack before putting it back in and exchanging it for broken scissors.
That's so funny.
I'm not familiar with that TV show. I assume it is a TV show.
I think it's a cop show. And it's the one where that all the other cop shows like make fun of, where they like to like take off their shades and they're like, they have a bunch of zingers. They're like, this is gonna be a big one, or something like that. I want to say that's what that is. And then, not to jump straight from kidnapping to simping, but Clark did this to us, and he looks so good. Damn, Coulson looks so hot when he's all dirty and serious. And truly, if I have gotten nothing else from this podcast, I have learned some things about myself.
Truly. I've loved watching you discover these things.
Love a dirty, serious man. So Coulson and the team run into Tess for the first time in a while, who says that the creepers are harvesting children, which is like the worst phrase I've ever heard. Enoch is informing Fitz about all the bidders at Cassius's party, including Fitz's alias, Boshtalk, a wealthy marauder with a dark, heavily rumored path of dead enemies in his wake. Even Cassius has heard of him, though as he tells Scary Spice, he's not entirely familiar with a marauder. But he tells Scary Spice that he will keep an eye on Boshtalk for her benefit. And then Fitz finally sees Simmons. It's like the world stopped. And technically the world did stop, but it was already stopped. And then Enoch says that per the Marauder code, he will introduce Fitz to Simmons. So Fitz approaches Simmons when she's alone, and she's staring out the window, and he tells her to stay cool and act normal, while he delivers just like the most beautiful speech about how their love has survived from the bottom of an ocean to crossing galaxies to traveling through time, and a love that strong cannot be cursed. And so he tells her about what he's been through to find them, and he finally asks her to marry him. And she didn't hear any of it because she didn't know he was behind her. And she can't fucking hear him, but he doesn't know that. That was absolutely insane. And I can't believe they did that to us.
I remember like screaming at the TV watching this in real time. He said, so I think we should get married. Will you marry me? And I was like, no! She can't hear you! I was like ripping my hair out the whole time. And then he's like, I know I said play it cool, but I didn't mean this cool.
It's like, I hated it so much, but it's so genius. It's like the best way they could have done it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Cassius interrupts them, and Fitz plays his role very well, asking Cassius why his servant is ignoring his question, and he says that Fitz says that servants that can't hear Cassius's guests also can't serve Cassius's guests, which is like just a genius take, honestly. Yeah. So Cassius turns Simmons' ears back on. Permanently, apparently. And then they discuss the price for Fitz buying Simmons, and Cassius says that she's a package deal with the Destroyer of Worlds. And then he reveals that for the feast today, they will include some, or I guess for the festivities today, they're including some brand new Inhumans that they harvested the children to try putting them through Terrigenesis. Fucking. Oh no.
Yeah.
Honestly, just like, Fitz just like learning all of these things while trying to play a role where he's supposed to kind of know some of it was like, it was so interesting to see the choices that he made and like his micro expressions and stuff. Was so good. It was so good. So Tess tells the SHIELD team that every 18-year-old was taken, and there are apparently only 4. So, and she sees Flint among them. So, she tells them that Flint's family was killed in a renewal, so Virgil always had a soft spot for him, and was trying to like take him under his wing, teach him how to fly a trawler, and so Tess being like the next closest person to Flint, she goes to talk to him and calm his nerves about going through Terrigenesis 2 years earlier than expected.
Yeah, so they said that like normally the harvest is every 18-year-old, but that already happened a couple months ago.
Oh.
So this is just like every teenager.
Ew. That's awful.
Because like at least one of those kids could not have been more than 14.
Yeah. Oof. Ugh.
And he's only 16. He's a
16.
baby.
Flint says that at least if he turns, Tess won't have to worry about him coming around asking for things anymore. And then Tess tears up, and I tear up, and she says that she likes having him come around. Like, what a moment.
I know. It was really good.
So then the creepers start the ceremony, and they do the Terrigenesis, and Flint is the only one who ends up cocooning. But then the cocoon explodes, and he's just gone. But yo-yoed him away from everyone else so that they wouldn't know what his powers are.
So this was in the goofs, but it had a label that said incorrectly regarded as a goof. So here is the original goof. Every time in the past when a human is exposed to Terrigen Mist, it is fatal, Agent Tripp, or near fatal, Agent Coulson, saved only by amputating his hand. Yet here, 3 human children are exposed and survive. And then the debunk is, it's not the Terrigen Mist that is harmful. It was the metal from the diviner that was harmful. Jiaying, Daisy's mother, was afraid that since there were only 4 diviners remaining on Earth, that if they were ever lost or destroyed, the inhuman race would go extinct. So she had asked the inhuman scientists to duplicate the Terrigen crystals. They were successful, only they were unable to make them without the diviner metal mixed in with it, making the new crystals deadly to all who were not inhuman. The Kree, however, have the original crystals with no diviner metal mixed within. So that's why the remaining 3 children who were exposed survived.
Wow. Look at them debunking it for us.
I know.
I love it. That is a very interesting point, though. Very good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so at Cassius's dinner, his not friend, Panarian, they literally hate each other. They are absolute frenemies. And Panarian spills the beans to everyone else that Cassius was exiled to the lighthouse to oversee his father's Earth project, while Cassius's brother is overseeing their family's galactic enterprise. So embarrassing for him. Oh my god. And the whole time, Fitz and Simmons are just trying really hard not to look at each other. So Daisy and hot guy mind reader Ben are trying to figure out their next move. Or, well, Daisy is. Ben is annoyed that that helping Daisy got him chosen as a fighter for the first time. But they have no choice but to work together. Unfortunately, she just has to work with the super hot guy with a jaded attitude but a heart of gold.
Oh no.
Oh no. Panarian announces to the table that he's brought a treat, a delicacy, some galactic snail dish, and everyone is very excited for this. Fucking French aliens, apparently. During the dinner, Fitz notices that Simmons steals his knife from the table. Pretty sure it was a butter knife, it looked like. But
it literally was a butter knife. It was...
Whatever. But it works well enough.
Yeah.
But so he notices that she stole his butter knife from the table while she was serving, and he covers for her. And he also plays his role perfectly. Yet again, towing the line between rude and playful. And he guesses that Cassius keeps his population in line through fear and intimidation, just like the grasshoppers in A Bug's Life. And then he insults Panarian by telling him that his snails are gross, and so is he, actually.
I find moist creatures repulsive. Or what was the word he used? I think it was repulsive. Distasteful.
Yeah. As are the fat mouths that eat them.
Slurping them down, I think is what he...
Yeah. And then... But Cassius thinks it's hilarious, obviously. Only because Bostock is so rich, apparently. So Cassius cuts dinner short so that they can begin their bidding. That was a very fun dinner.
Yeah.
So the creepers and everyone else are like really confused about Flint. And they try to guess his powers. They're like, can he disappear? What is this? But Yo-Yo has Flint in the empty salvage room, and he tries to tell her to let him go because he like might get chosen for a better life as a champion or whatever. And Yo-Yo tells him, no, people who buy other people are not good people, which fucking bars.
Yeah.
And then Yo-Yo reveals to Flint that she is also an Inhuman just before Coulson and the others find them. They say that the creepers are already looking for Flint, and Grill isn't coming back to salvage until the end of the day, so they have very little time to figure out a plan, but they do have time. So Tess is going to request a trawler run, and then they'll fly out with Flint in the brig to buy them a couple of days to come up with the rest of the plan. Cassius is Bostock's #1 fan. Today, at least. He's like all but twirling his hair when he asks Bostock to come and sit next to him for the fights. And Fitz is like, yeah, okay. Sure. But first up, Ben and none other than Melinda May are fighting. The first fight.
Yikes.
I said that really awful, but I'm not going to say it again. May is let out in chains with her legs still fucked up. And she tries to hide the shock on her face when she sees Fitz in the audience. Not very well.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Actually. Anyway, so while the fight ensues, Fitz gets Cassius talking. They bond over their daddy issues and their distaste for Panarian. And down in the arena, May is struggling. Actually, she's got quite a disadvantage here, but she is fighting very hard. And Ben isn't even breaking a sweat. He's like, whatever, I could do this all day. But he does let May know that he helped Daisy, so May suggests that they work together. And he's like, what is it with you people in teamwork? It makes the dream work, Ben. I don't know what to tell you.
What's gonna work?
Teamwork!
Exactly.
Ben says that they can't change the rules, but May says you just need to know who to ask. And then she stares directly at Fitz. So, Fitz stands up and announces that he's bored by this fight. And Cassius promises a very thrilling ending and offers to throw in some more weapons to the arena. But Fitz says that he's tired of some ancient has-been, and he wants to see the Destroyer of Worlds fight. So, he suggests that they should just send May up to the surface, since the Vrenex Skelly roaches would have more use for her than the rest of the bidders. Vrelnexian?
Yeah, I think it was Vrelnexians. Yeah.
Okay. He said it perfectly, and so they didn't suspect a thing. He says that the roaches would have more use for her than the rest of the bidders. And Cassius begrudgingly agrees and orders that May be escorted to the surface lift. May thanks Ben. I guess he put the idea in Fitz's head.
That's a possibility. I don't know if that's like canon, but that's my headcanon now.
Otherwise, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Why she would have thanked him and why she would have been like, you just need to know who to ask. And, like, look so pointedly at Fitz.
Maybe. Yeah. It could be something that you caught that I didn't.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's my headcanon, at least.
It's our headcanon together. And it may
it's
be
our pod
canon. It's a pod canon.
But Ben says, don't thank him. He just delayed the inevitable because no one can save her from the roaches. Dun dun dun. Tess is trying to request her trawler when one of the creepers from the ceremony stops her. He asks if she's been hiding Flint, and she swears that she isn't. He's suspicious of her, though, because she was the last person to speak to Flint before the ceremony started. But she says that she was just giving him a pep talk to, like, protect her business investment because he gets her things that nobody else can. So the creeper finally lets her leave, but something tells me he'll be keeping an eye on her. He was not happy about it. So Flint is listening to Yo-Yo tell her story, and he is just absolutely amazed by her about how her powers revealed themselves. He learns about tacos and exorcisms and cocaine. When suddenly all their metrics are magnetized again, and they're all trapped, and Grill was listening the whole time. And so he says, hey, you should tell your story again to Cassius. Oh, fuck. God damn it. Grill, you gotta ruin everything.
God damn it, Grill.
Back at the nice part of the lighthouse, they are just starting a bidding war for Ben when Cassius stops it and says that Ben is no longer for sale, actually.
So Gaius Panarian at this point mentions a planet called Kitson. He says something like, if I wanted a tease, I would have visited the brothels of Kitson. This is possibly named for George Kitson, one of the series writers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, that's fun. Aw, I want a planet named after me.
I know.
That's cute. So Cassius says that he has found out that Ben lied about there being other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who time traveled with Daisy and Simmons. So Ben must be disciplined immediately. Fitz tries to stop it and suggests letting one of the buyers handle the discipline, but Cassius cannot allow one of his own slaves to lie to him. So Scary Spice unleashes her balls, and Ben has just enough time to think to Daisy that it's not her fault and not to blame herself before he's just dead. That was so, like, his death was just so fast and shocking.
Yeah.
I had to, like, pause for a second because I was like, oh, it's over. Oh my god. And they didn't even show it, but it was still just like I gasped.
I think the choice to, like, not show it made it that much more,
yeah,
like, devastating.
Absolutely. And I think because, like, showing his face where he's, like, obviously trying to communicate to Daisy and then suddenly he's just blank was awful. But genius.
Yeah. Shout out to that actor. I don't know his name.
Absolutely.
You're very handsome and you're good at what you do.
Yeah. And I felt bad. I just learned his name.
I know.
So Grill tells the SHIELD team that he was told May was sent to the service. So when he asks again why they didn't have metrics when he found them, Coulson answers truthfully and says that they came from the past to save the world. Grill laughs and says that he doesn't care about the prophecy. He just wants to get paid off by Cassius, so he can't wait to sell the four of them out. But as he's talking, Flint, who is not trapped by his metric, has started to realize his powers when the pebbles on the floor start floating. Ooh. So Simmons finds Daisy alone, quietly grieving Ben's death. And Simmons does her best to comfort her. And then they start to try to figure out their next move together. Now that Simmons can hear again. Daisy says that they'll have to make their next move as soon as Cassius turns off Daisy's inhibitor for the fight. And that Fitz will just have to be ready then too. So Daisy also says that Fitz looks pretty cute in his little bounty hunter outfit. Agreed. But Simmons says that she still prefers his cardigans. Aww. Simmons leaves Daisy, and then she and Fitz see each other from down the hall, and they're about to meet in the middle when another servant interrupts Simmons and pulls her away for some situation. Ah! Fuck! It's like Troy and Gabriella in High School Musical when they're trying to kiss. Every time they get
so
interrupted.
Frustrating.
Enoch finds Fitz right then, though, and tells him that they have a new bidding opponent. Someone richer and scarier than Boshtak, Cassius' brother. Uh-oh! Grill is still trying to intimidate the SHIELD team and Flint, and he says that he's starting to think Zev was set up by Yo-Yo, but as he's talking, rocks start flying and hitting people in the head. Grill tells Flint to knock it off, so Flint sends another one at Grill. And so then Grill points his gun at Flint and says, "Stop it or I'll stop you." And so Flint makes a giant stone, like, fucking boulder, and just crushes Grill underneath it. Which, honestly, poetic justice, because Grill was keeping everybody under his thumb for as long as he could, and now he got crushed by a bigger thumb.
Yeah. Yeah. But poor Flint, though.
I know.
It's like, he shouldn't have had to do that.
Yeah. At 16.
I know. Baby. He's a little baby. Shout out to any 16-year-olds who are listening.
You're a little baby.
You're a little baby. And we love you.
Just kidding. No, you're a grown-up. Okay. So Fitz confronts Cassius about his brother showing up and stealing the destroyer out from under him. But Cassius doesn't care. He's like, I've moved on. He's like just excited that his father is sending Falnock because that means that his father is finally interested in something that Cassius is doing. He's finally getting Papa's attention. So then Enoch comes over once Cassius like breezes away, and he gives some paper wrapped package to Fitz. And Fitz says that he has one last thing he needs Enoch to do. The creepers are still looking for Flint, and they're literally so bad at looking. Like, really? You're not even gonna try to look behind the door? Well, come on!
You're not gonna look in salvage at all.
Like, that's like the most places to hide. What are you doing? And they only sent one person to go look. Oh my god. Falnock does not want to be present here at all. And Cassius is desperate to be superior to his brother in literally any way. So he promises that this fight will be a great spectacle, but Falnock says that he doesn't want to see the Destroyer fight another Inhuman. He wants to see her fight a Kree warrior. Falnock even has someone in mind. Scary Spice. Cassius tries to protest and says that she's not even prepared for battle. What? No! But Falnock interrupts his sputtering to say that Cassius sure cowers behind Scary Spice like she's his greatest warrior. Excuse me for thinking that she was. So Cassius quickly folds and agrees, and he tells Sonara that she will be fighting to the death, and he expects a spectacle. But obviously not too big a one. Don't lose, because then I won't get my money. And
well, no, I think the implication is, like, you give a spectacle, but you need to die because I need to sell those Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah.
So don't win.
Exactly. Oh, I said don't lose. I meant don't win. That's... Never mind.
Oh, okay.
We were agreeing. I just said stupid things. Anyway, Scary Spice is pissed. Reasonably, honestly.
Yeah. I would be too.
Yeah. Flint is also reasonably freaking out about killing Grill. Coulson and Mac try to comfort him, saying that he really didn't have a choice, that Grill was going to kill them all, but nothing is helping. So Coulson and Mac go out to find Tess while Flint stays with Yo-Yo. But unfortunately, when they find her, she was killed by the creepers, and I can't tell if she's hanging or just floating.
I think she was hanging.
In the middle of the market with a sign that says "Bring the Inhuman," which was an awful image.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did not expect Tess to die.
I know.
Like, sometimes some of the characters that they introduce, I'm like, okay, like, they're probably going to be here for just this episode. And then sometimes I'm, like, expecting them to really stick around. And I thought that Tess was going to stick around. They did her dirty. So Cassius announces Daisy and Scary Spice's fight, and it commences. But Cassius has a force field put up in front of him and his guests so that Daisy can't get through it. So instead, Fitz starts shooting. And then Simmons slits Cassius' throat with her butter knife.
With the butter knife.
And then after, like, kicking Scary Spice's ass, Daisy starts floating up to take on Cassius's guests, but Falnook grabs Cassius's remote, turns on Daisy's inhibitor again, so she falls back to the floor. And then Fitz and Simmons jump over the balcony, where he shoots the force field so that nobody can follow them, and also just, like, keeps shooting people as they, like, pop up and look at him. And then they finally kiss! Yay! And he says he's never leaving her side again. And so she says, good, we should just get married. And he says, absolutely, 100%. And then they help Daisy out of the arena while he just, like, casually shoots Scary Spice when she looks at them. And then another guard that's, like, walking through the door as it's open. He just was, like, so quick about it. And then he tells Simmons how he actually did propose to her first, and it just was at, like, the time when she couldn't hear him, and she's like, uh-huh. And he's like, I really did. I loved it. This
beautiful.
It was so good. And now it's time for the post-content content. Enoch is blue. And he passes by another creeper who has no idea who he is. And Enoch says, I am a Cree, as I have always been, brother.
I love Enoch so much.
And then Enoch opens the lift, and the creeper asks if he knows what he's doing, because people don't usually come back from there. But Enoch cuts him off by shooting him and says, I am not a person. And then he just stands there in the open elevator. What the fuck? I love him so much.
I am not a person.
I am a Cree, as I have always been, brother. And then that's it. This episode was fucking insane.
Oh my god. Yes, overall thoughts.
I had, like, whiplash the whole time. Also, just excellent Fitzsimmons reunion. Loved it. 10 out of 10. A double proposal. I'm all about it. Love. It was amazing. And then fucking Ben and Tess, R.I.P.
Yeah.
You didn't deserve it. I really hate that everybody that helps them has ended up dead.
It's a really, like, harsh season. Like,
yeah. There's so much more killing this season.
Yeah. And we're only on episode 6.
We're only on episode 6. Oh my god.
Well.
Well.
That concludes our episode on season 5, episode 6, Fun and Games.
Woohoo!
Next time we'll be covering season 5, episode 7, Together or Not at All, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, bye!
Bye, love you!